Welcome back to my channel, Duct Tape Mechanic, and to another episode in my series, Free on Facebook, which is a series of videos in which I find things for free and I show you how to repair them, repurpose them, or reuse them in another manner. In this video, I'm going to show you the top 3 reasons why your Whirlpool or Kenmore dryer is not drying. So if you find this video to be helpful, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more DIY and tinkering videos. Here's the dryer in question. This video is going to be pretty much applicable to any sort of dryer that has this sort of filter on top. So this is my favorite type of dryer because they're really robust, and I feel that this filter really removes a lot of the lint. So if you got a dryer, whether it's a Whirlpool, a Mana, Maytag, Kenmore, and it's got this lint filter on top right here and it's not heating, this video is for you. I'm going to cover the top 3 reasons why it's not heating and how easy it is to fix it. So let's get to it. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is make sure it's unplugged, obviously. And then after that, we're going to be removing this back panel. So that's the one thing that's the second thing I like about these dryers. The first is obviously the location of the lint filter, but the second is removing this back panel gives us access to pretty much everything we need to fix it. So all you need to do to remove it is take off these 9 1/4-inch screws. So I like to use my little impact gun here, but you can also use a 1/4-inch nut driver to do that. So let's get to it. Alright, so after that we need to get our multimeter and set it to the continuity mode. So this is pretty much going to make sure that we have a continuous flow of electricity through all the 3 components we're going to be testing. So these are 3 main components that usually go out on this type of machine, and they're really easy to test, so don't get frightened by the meter. You can pick up a cheap meter like this. Well, this is a little bit expensive one, but you can pick up a cheap multimeter for Harbor Freight for like $10, and that's how I used to buy those all the time when I first started, because they'd only last for like 3 or 4 months before they broke. But anyways, it'll serve the purpose. So put it in continuity mode. It'll make a little beep when we have a continuous electric path right here. So we're good there. All right, so the first thing we're gonna be testing is this little white piece right here. So that is called the thermal fuse, and that pretty much monitors the temperature of the air system here. So if there's a blockage downstream of this fuse is going to trip. So we're going to measure to see if it's got continuity, and if it doesn't, that means we have to replace the fuse. But just replacing that is not going to solve the issue that caused it to trip. So just be aware of that. Even if this tests out to be bad and you replace it, you also need to make sure your air pathway is clear. So that can be lint buildup, or it can also be a kink in the vent hose. Alright, so let's go ahead and zoom in to the thermal fuse, and I'll show you how to properly test that. Just need to undo one of the legs right here, so like so, and get our multimeter and just put it onto, it doesn't matter what the orientation of the probes are, just put it on like so, and it beeps. That tells us that a thermal fuse has continuity, so that part is good. Just check it again. So that's 1 out of 3 parts that could potentially cause your dryer not to heat up. So that one's good. Let's move on to the second part, which is the heating element. And remember to go ahead and plug this back in. Alright, the way to test the heating element is pretty much also the same principle. This whole thing is the heating element, where the tabs for the heating element are right here. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to zoom in a little bit right here, show you what we're looking at. Move the camera like so, and we'll try to pull off one of these wires. If you can't pull it off, I recommend using kind of a screwdriver to kind of pry it off. You don't want to be too brutal with it, but there we go. Alright, so one of the wires is off. Alright, so with one of the wires removed, we're also going to check the heating element for continuity. So we've got our multimeter back here, and the way we're going to do this is we're going to put one probe right here, and the other probe on the pretty much the same tab but in the back. So we got the same tab all the way back here, and you hear it beeping. That shows we have continuity through the element, so our heating element is good. So that is our second thing that could be bad, is the heating element, but that's, in this case, that's good. So we're going to move on to the third and final thing, which is the high limit fuse, or the high limit thermal cutoff. Alright, so the high limit thermal cutoff is also located on the heating element. It's right here. This pretty much cuts off the flow of electricity when this heating element gets above 309 degrees. So let's go ahead and test that. And to do that is also the same thing. We're going to pull one of these tabs off, like so. Get our multimeter and just put it on the tabs and see if it beeps. So this is right there on the tabs. As you could hear, there's no beep. That tells us that the thermal cutoff, high limit thermal cutoff, is bad. Now, this thermal cutoff is just a safety mechanism, so it itself is not going to be the issue. So if you just replace this thermal cutoff, it's just going to trip again. The main reason why this is tripping is because of the thermostat. The high limit thermostat is not functioning properly. So when you replace this thermal cutoff, you need to also replace the high limit thermostat. So I'm going to show you how to replace that, because those two components are the third most common reason why your Whirlpool Kenmore top lint filter machine is not heating. That's the thermal cutoff, high limit thermostat combination. And both of these parts are available on Amazon for like $5 a piece, so it's really no sweat. So I'm going to show you how to remove the thermal cutoff, or the high limit thermostat. Then we'll remove the thermal cutoff and replace those. To remove the high limit thermostat, we're just going to be pulling these two wires first. So the top red wire, which should be thicker, and then this bottom orange wire. Alright, so then I'm going to zoom in to show you what I'm going to do next. So after that, what we can do is kind of get a screwdriver, kind of pry it from right here. And it should just come off like that. This hole right here goes into a tab on the bottom right here, and then this goes right on to the tab of the heating element. So that's how you pull that off. And to replace that is pretty much just everything in reverse. So I can just show you that. I don't have this part on hand, so I'm going to have to wait for a couple of days, which gives me enough time to vacuum out the rest of the dryer. But if you were to replace that, you would pretty much just get this with the circle right here. There's a tab where my finger is. Slide it, loop it into the tab. You can see it's on the tab now. And then put this part onto the tab of the heating element, like so. Then just stick that one in there, and this one onto the smaller tab. You really can't screw this up, because this is the spade connector right here is smaller than the spade connector up here. So if you're worried about it, you can take a picture, but there's no really way to screw it up. But yeah, you just take the part number, order it off of Amazon. Probably be here in a couple of days. As far as the high limit thermostat or thermal cutoff goes, to replace that is really easy as well. Just undo the two. It doesn't matter whether this one's on top or this one's on top. It just doesn't matter. And there's a 1/4" screw right there, and out she comes. This one right here, the part number is on there as well. I do have a replacement of this right here, so I'm just going to slap that on there. And it's just to show you the replacement does have continuity. You can just, like so. It beeps. tells us that's got continuity. And that's also got a tab right there. I'll just kind of clean off some of this lint right there. But the tab just goes in like so, and then you just screw that back in, so like that. Yeah, this almost any part on this dryer is available on Amazon for like less than 10 or 15 bucks. And that one goes there. That goes there. And that's pretty much in a nutshell the top 3 reasons why your dryer is not heating up. So if it's the thermal cutoff you find is bad, also replace the high limit thermostat. Now, just a bonus one is a small chance that if this is bad, it could be due to the heating element being grounded. So I'll just show you, just as a bonus, how to test that. You pretty much just pull one of the tabs of the heating element and put your multimeter probe on it, like so, and put the other probe onto the casing of the heating element and check to see if it has continuity. And if it does, that means your heating element is grounding out against the casing, and in that case it's always staying on, causing your thermal fuse, high limit thermal fuse, to blow. In this case, we see our heating element is not grounding out, so changing out this thermostat is going to do the trick. So if you found this video to be helpful, make sure you hit the thumbs up sign.